Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we are going to, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. For today's video, we are going to talk about A Boss and a Babe and shows like it. Um, I want to make this video because I got a long, lengthy comment on my reaction to episode 4 of the series. Um, Basically, they were disappointed that I wasn't really feeling A Boss and a Babe, and they left a long comment with timestamps having rebuttals to some of the comments I said in that reaction video. Now, they weren't rude about it, so it's not like I'm coming at them sideways because they came at me sideways. They really just had their point of view on each of the things I was talking about in that video. Um, as I was going through, and I did leave a response, but I realized I couldn't respond to every bullet point they had. They left like it was like 10 timestamps with a response to something I said. It was like it was too much. So I did respond to some of them, and then I just realized halfway through I was writing my comment that they may have missed the point of my rant or my criticism. And maybe I'm also not conveying what I mean clearly enough. I have noticed a lot of my subscribers here on the channel have articulated my feelings way better than I did in my actual video, which I really appreciate. I really appreciate you guys maybe feeling the same way I do, and you guys are able to explain it better than I have been, because a lot of people have been missing my point. And I wanted to make this video today to kind of go over what I really mean, how I really feel. Even though I've said this a lot with different series, this is the same old song, but I guess I don't mind to continue the conversation because I'm having a hard time with the responses I've been getting, and it just bothers me, and I wish it didn't, but it does. And at the end of the day, this is all supposed to be fun. It's not that serious. It's a fictional stories and whatnot. So like it's not the end of the world, but it's also kind of fun to have these discussions. But I just kind of want to have a discussion where we can like not be as dismissive towards our feelings or what we're saying, because a lot of people listen with the intent to respond and not really comment and listen to what I'm actually saying. They're really kind of picking up. Let me explain. So basically, I give my commentary on these shows two different ways. One is my commentary based on what is happening in the actual story, what the characters are doing, what they're not doing, the plot, everything that's happening in the narrative. Those reactions are typically the most fun. We have the kiki. I think I'm hilarious with my banter. You guys quote me. It's the best fun time ever. And then we have the opposite. Rather than the story, I comment on the show itself. That could be the production of, oh, the lighting, the lighting, they're blown out outside, or y'all know I don't like room echo in a scene, so I'm like, where was the microphones? Or quite often, it's more of the choices made in the editing and directing of the series itself. I have issues with, because these shows have tropes and cliches that they kind of like highlight. Some shows have the tropes and cliches and they expand and use as a baseline and expand on it, and other shows just have the tropes and cliches and let the chips fall where they may. There's no they're not there's no theme, there's no subverting expectations of the trope. There's none of those. They do these things because it's a tried and true formula. And it's weird for me to watch these shows when they do those things with how progressive a lot of these shows have become. So for these shows to rely on the tropes and cliches and just stay there, I get frustrated because I'm like, these episodes are 45 minutes long to an hour. There's 12 episodes. We are doing this old school stuff constantly still in this day and age. It blows my mind. Now, as far as A Boss and a Babe goes, the director of this series, I said in my other video when I made my Boys Love series video, I was not a fan of none of the shows that they have ever directed. There are some shows I do like, but I don't think they're particularly good. I just have a nostalgic attachment to those shows, but overall, none of the series I like through and through. Some I like halfway, some I like towards the end, and some I don't like at all. At all. Um, and to my point, the point of all this is that lots of times when I'm criticizing the choices being made, often you'll hear me say the characters are just hanging out. What I mean is they show the characters flirting with each other. They're in the car, they're at a park bench, they're in the balcony, they're in the bed, they're at the office, and there's like flirty banter, which adds nothing to the story. Now, there's plenty of shows that do have characters flirt and banter, but during those times, you get a progression in either the character development, maybe they've changed their ways, and this scene showcases a different side of them, or you get a more backstory and context because they're confiding and talking to their love interest about something more meaningful. You know, I think one of the great examples of this is My Secret Love. I remember a scene where I forgot their names too. I love that show. And I forgot their names. Oh my gosh, fake fan. But it was when one of our main leads, he had his boo thing go out to the garden and garden with him. Now they were just out there gardening. It was like a semi montage. It just them playing around in the garden, but it had a meaning to it. One, he was sharing something he loved with the boy he liked. Number one, which is touching, which is nice, and it made sense. Two, the boy he liked realized how much he loved, gardening. Like he loved that. He was all into it. He never saw that side of him. He was happy to be there to see what his man likes. Touching. And then it came back full circle when his man got an offer to get this scholarship and go to school for this job, architect job situation, and he was going to give it up for his boyfriend, but he was like, I can't let him. He had so much joy doing this. He shared it with me. I saw the light in his eyes, and it came full circle. So when he said, hey, we got to break up, go to that school, go overseas, this will be more benefit. It was much more impactful. You know what I mean? That's what I mean when I like a scene when they have something to say when they are just hanging out. I don't mind just hanging out scenes. I just, if it's constantly back to back to back to back and we're not learning anything, we're not doing much, or repeating the same story beats again and again, I get frustrated. Yes, lots of times when I say something about this, everyone is like, oh, but it was funny. Oh, it was cute. I'm not debating that. Of course it is. It's a boys love drama. They need you to feel the feels of that. They want you to feel it's cute and adorable, and you're like gushing and shipping, and you're being giddy. I just like it to be attached to a storyline, to a character growth, character moment. And oftentimes with this director's series, that doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't. We have them together, and it is adorable. It's like, oh, like yes, but like with me, when they have something meaningful behind it, I get extra giddy. You've seen any show I watch here on YouTube or on Patreon, I'm very elated with the characters really out here having a meaningful interaction with just a simple date. You know what I mean? Like I when there's a plot line they're following through and they're growing and bonding as they get to the end goal, I love it. Even if the end goal is not super important in the show itself, the fact that they had that there and it is just brings joy. I am a big fan of here's an obstacle we have to get to, like in Two Moons, the Two Moons competition at the end. I love that we have a goal in mind for the characters to reach, and there's things happening up until that goal. I like that. Same thing with recently My School President. I love that aspect of the show. Each episode had an obstacle to get to the end goal, and as that happened, the boys bonded and grew closer and closer together. They made sense, and they were just precious, and it was I loved it. And then what other show? There's so many shows, especially the Korean dramas. They always have an obstacle in the Korean dramas. They have to get to the new employee. I love that series. Again, their job, their world. There's a obstacle. There's an end goal for a character themselves. I want and a need from the character that we followed, as well as having the romance bloom as we go along. Those things are so simple, so simple. But when the show rather have let's just have the boys together, just to have them together, it loses me. It does lose me a lot, especially when the show is very long. I don't, I don't see, and the thing is, it's not like I have a real big issue with someone explaining to me what a scene is doing. I just feel like I guess I get my intelligence insulted when they do. Like I had an issue with a Boss and a Babe when he shared went on that pro queer rant to those girls. I had an issue with that because, like, first of all they said was he was gay, and then he went on the whole rant and basically called them homophobic, but they didn't really do anything intolerant. So why'd you go on this whole rant? And I felt like it was just pandering to the audience to get brownie points to be like, oh look, see, we are progressive and we are reading this cue card about. It came off very inauthentic, and I had a problem with it. But of course, people left comments and people were telling me like, oh, about it was like there's a few comments people were telling me about the LGBTQ issues that they were having in Thailand and da 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 da. I understand that. I understand that. This show just did it just to do it. It's not saying anything. It's not woven into the narrative. I like it when it's into the narrative. Like My School President, how the whole like the boys got popular, not popular, but like exposed as a couple. Everyone in the school is talking about it, and you have like that one teacher or guidance counselor, whatever he was out here on the forums, on the blogs, dragging the school president and like how he's representing the school. They can't be doing this, and he's not for the queer folk. And then the boys catch him talking about them, and he tries to play it off, but then he starts getting really intense, and then the vice president punched him. It all came to a head. We had an intolerant person, and it also weaved into the storyline of Tin and his mom, how she wanted her son to confide in her about him being a queer and had a boyfriend, but when she went to go ask him, he visibly was having like a panic attack about what she was going to ask him because he knew that she was going to ask. She knew that she was going to ask, but she decided not to. It came full circle when the teacher was going on a whole anti-gay rant, calling her B words, all this stuff. She stepped in. She herself was like, "It doesn't matter who he wants to love. There's nothing. It doesn't matter how you feel about it." She went on the whole pro queer rant, and it made sense for her character, for the plot that was happening at that moment. It all made sense, and I love the show for that. They're getting brownie points for that scene from me. See how they wove it into the narrative. It made it more meaningful. It didn't come off as pandering. It came off more realistic and grounded. I I love that. I love that. Now I don't. And the thing is, it's okay to have small plot lines in your show as you go along. Like things happen, and you just deal with it as it happens. That's basically what slice of life shows are. I just wish A Boss and a Babe utilize that. It does not. They have sprinkled in some stuff because I know people are like, oh, Gunn, the boss man, is lonely. He has no friends and he's uptight. And the show isn't really showcasing that. He's telling us that he feels some way about he feels lonely because he's queer and like it's telling us that, but they're not showing us that, which would have been great to see. Maybe his friendship with Drake's character could have been explored more, or like it could have because they brought it up and they haven't brought it up since they brought it up, which I was like, why would you bring that up and not come back to it yet? They might. I'm sure they will. Like it's no doubt. But I feel like rather than going deeper into that, they decide to let's have him flirt with Cher and like that scene with Cher coming in. He's like late for work. He's like, oh, I've been sick, and like with the lady and the banter with the lady, and then we go to the room. Like all that was a waste of time. That didn't add anything. We didn't gain anything from that scene. Yes, it could have been cute. It could have been comedic, but it's not necessary. Chopping the floor. Or better yet, I was so excited to see like another side of Cher with his whole like fake brother who was asking for money. That's such an interesting plot line. Maybe Cher has to work at this company to make money to pay for his brother, but he feels obligated to because of his sister passing away. Like we found out later, that the sister he dated, I think she might have passed. I'm not sure what happened to her actually. Maybe I didn't comprehend that, but it all would have connected better. And the stuff is there. I'm filling the blanks, so like I see what happened, but the show itself isn't filling the blanks for me or connected in a nice, smooth way, which I have a problem with. I'm like, I don't understand why you brought that up and not have it come together full circle, or even We have a whole gay couple in the show. They have one scene with just them, which was out of place, but it was nice to see them have a little scene. And one of them was like, "Oh, Cher and Jack have been busy. They haven't been gaming. They've been too occupied. Why not have it in the show's narrative that they are doing something at work? Like we know they're busy with a goal in mind at work. They have been neglecting their friends. This is coming to a head because now the friend is feeling out of he's feeling left out or not left out, but like he's feeling left behind, neglected. We like I said in my reaction, we've seen that in my Secret Love, but they showcase that from the other person's point of view constantly. There's their friendship. They have the little YouTube channel, but because he's doing this stuff with this other guy, he's neglecting him. He's getting popular. He's neglecting him. He feels left out, left behind. Now he has to realize, wait a second, without my friends, I'm being left behind. What do I do for myself? And he's trying to learn to grow as an individual and build his own channel up. So like, there's a whole other narrative with another character based on something that happened with another person that he's interacted with, based on the main character. You see what I mean? Like there's so many avenues to go with these characters that make it more fleshed out and dynamic and interesting, especially for a longer runtime. Boss and the Babe and other shows like it don't do that, and I don't know why. It's like they're pandering. They want to get fan service type scenes constantly to keep the because they like here are the boys love tropes and cliches, the fall on top of each other, the close proximity, the miscommunication, the denying the feelings, the I'm getting jealous, and they do all the things right, but nothing else with those things. It's not building up to that. There's nothing come from that. Sometimes even the episode where he was jealous, it was like brought up, but then at the end of the episode, it wasn't mentioned at all. He just picked him up from the police precinct and like they got drunk and now it's the next day. I know they're gonna like follow up on that in the next episode, but I don't think that's a strong enough plot line. Cher acting like he don't like him or like denying his jealousy. That's so tired and not a strong enough narrative. It really isn't, guys. It really isn't. So yeah, basically that's what I wanted to say. I just find it interesting that everyone wants to ignore my actual gripe with the show. Maybe because maybe I'm saying these things, but I'm also nitpicking what's happening to the actual narrative. So everyone's like jumping on that rather than what I'm actually saying is there's bad pacing. There's no plot line. There's no someone in my comments said there's no external conflict. There's so many things they could do with the office space, with the different characters, with Jack and the office ladies. There's things they can do, and I feel like people, if you bring that up, someone's gonna say, "Oh, well, the show isn't about them. It's about Cher and Gunn." That doesn't mean other characters can get storylines. It doesn't mean we have to rehash what we do with Cher and Gunn a bunch of times. We don't have to draw things out. We don't have to. You guys, it seems like you. I understand if you like it as is, how it is, but you acting like it won't. It'd be terrible for them to explore different themes, different characters. Like we can world build. This it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. Oh my goodness. I was looking at the thing about the shows this guy's done. Yeah, yeah, the shows he has done, and I'm not trying to drag his shows. I'm not trying to drag him or his shows really. I said behind what I said. I don't care for these series. However, that doesn't mean I think you shouldn't like them or I'm kind of trying to turn you away from those series. That might be what people think I'm doing. That's not exactly what I'm doing. I just would want these shows to be better in different ways, and I just want to give my insight of what could change that because we've seen other shows in a similar genre as this, just as simple, less money, do a narrative. You know what I mean? Oh my god, Sky in Your Heart and Star in My Mind, those shows drove me off the wall. One show had a collection of scenes that amounted to nothing. Another show had a misunderstanding, lack of communication, drugged out for about 5 episodes. Oh my god, it was so frustrating. And like, ugh. And then don't get me started on Ashante. Don't get me started on Ashante. Woo! So yeah, I just hope this clears the air. Maybe has a better understanding of how I go in. Now, I am still debating on if I want to continue A Boss and a Babe or not. I decided I was going to continue, but like I'm also kind of like, do I really should continue? I'm not enjoying it, and I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it when I first watched the trailer, but I want to give it a chance. But now I'm like, episode 4, I can actively say I don't like the show for the reasons I explained just now. But do I continue and just give my commentary on what's happening in the story and keep it at that? Because you guys know how I feel about the narrative. Um, or do I stop and just be like, cut my losses? Because I cut my losses or vice versa. But I kept going with the clips. And I don't like neither of those shows. And one I continue, one I didn't. What do you guys feel? Should I continue or do you guys... Because I don't want to be negative on here. I don't want to be Debbie Downer fully. I do want to say how I feel, but I'd also... There's no point in being a broken record. I can't complain about these shows doing the same thing over and over and over again if I'm going to do the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? I'm self-aware, so I don't want to be one of those people, but I'm just curious. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are below. I'm about to go watch Bed Friend right now, and what's the other show? Oh, Untold Love Story. I'm going to go watch those right now, so if you guys want to help support the channel, become a patron, please do so by linking the link below. And I will see you guys in the next video.